All right, guys, I'm taking over here. You guys should be able to hear me, and we're going to get some of these guys on a different platform, and we have unlimited potential here to basically bring on as many people we want to. So, anyway, if you're willing to jump on, let me know. Just give me a quick comment. Say, hey, I'm willing to jump on with you. I'll send you a quick link, and let's get you going, man. Let's get you on. It'd be great to have you guys. Let me see here. All right, I'm gonna do one more shout out link. We are approaching. We are approaching the very last of it here. We have an hour to go. 1 hour to fish. Actually, two. It'd be 2 hours maybe. No, it's an hour to fish Central Time. All right, let's see here. All right, try to get some of these guys on. Let's see. See if we can get these guys on here with us. All right, let's see here. Copy invitation. Oh, okay. Sorry, guys. Give me 1 second here. I'm just trying to get them on here. Here we go. All right. All right. We should have some folks on. Todd, can you hear me? All right, you gotta unmute, bud. There we
Yes,
go.
sir. Yes, sir.
All right, there we go. We should be getting some other people on here real quick. Conrad's trying to get on. Matt Frentress and Marty Hughes. Can you believe that?
Yeah.
That's quite a crowd there, man.
For those guys, if they're watching, all they got to do is click on that first link that you have. It'll take them into a wait page, and then you accept them in while
Yeah.
they sit there and wait. So that'll work.
Yep. Yeah, just click the link, go to the wait page, and
Click on that first link that Greg sent over, Marty, and you'll be like in like a little waiting type page, and Greg will just accept you in. That's what I just did. I think Zoom has a lot of potential. Call number.
All right, there we go.
Yeah, I like Be Live. I just don't know why that audio mutes out certain people. I don't know how you trump that.
Yeah.
We have to sit there and play with that.
I'm just going to check the updates here.
Oh, you're gonna give You're gonna give an update.
I'm going to see if there's an update.
Oh, there's an update.
There's an update. There is an update. So we'll see. All right, let's see if
I
I
don't
can
know. I don't know if there's an update or not. I'm not a judge on this one, so I can't see. I'm out of it. I'm locked out just like a normal person.
Yeah. All right, these guys should be able to get on. I'm still waiting for these guys to come in.
What is this great news?
All right.
Not. All they got to do is click on that link and
Yeah, it should pop
just
in,
wait.
right?
Yeah, let me pop out and pop back in again.
Okay.
I just want to see if it's as easy as I say it is.
It should be. That's what happened with these guys this morning.
Oops, I accidentally raised my hand, whatever that means.
That means you're fired. Have you seen my stapler?
Pick me! Pick me!
Have you seen my stapler? Have you seen my
Only
pay-
you!
Have you seen my paycheck? Oh yeah. Chuck Parsons. You kayak anglers have some solid sticks and mad determination and stamina. Ain't that the truth, man? Or that we are just flat out stupid. But that's the way it works. So, yeah, that is so true, man. Well, thanks for jumping on board. It's good stuff. So, anyway, I'm trying to get let's see here, 2 people in the waiting room. All right, admit. I don't know who LG Stylo 4 is, but we will try to get whoever that is. Oh my gosh, it's freaking Conrad Minetti. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, Conrad should be on.
And
It's connecting the audio.
I'm doing it from my phone too, so I mean it's easy. If you just click on that link, it takes you right to this page.
Yep.
You just wait on Greg.
It's yeah, I'm gonna remove that other one, Todd.
Conrad is there. I see it.
His audio's not working.
Conrad at the bottom left.
There we go.
Now you got to unmute yourself, Conrad, and you'll be good, man. Just go back down there and look at that again and hit unmute, and you're great.
All right, you have to unmute yourself, buddy.
Unmute.
There you go.
Boom.
There you go. You're good. Service is a little in and out, man. Well, Conrad, how the hell are you, my friend?
Pretty good. I've been relaxing, staying away from the game for a bit. Just trying to get back this week, you know what I mean?
You're breaking in and out, man. I don't know if you have bad service or not, man. I think you got some pretty bad service. Are you fishing in the Everglades again, man? Yeah, you must be getting storms or something.
His video is great, but his audio is like.
Yeah, you might. You might have to get to a better area, Mr. LG Styler 4.
LG Stylo 4, killing it.
Yeah, yeah, we can.
Yeah, you sure took your KBBT winnings and got you a new phone, Conrad?
This is brutal. This sounds like a remake of the Gremlins. This is brutal. Well, I don't know, man, but Conrad, try to get to a better area, man, if you can, and then jump back in. Just click that link.
All right, we'll do.
All right, cool. Well, that sounded better. Nope, never mind.
No.
Just get to a better area and link back in. I'll get you in here, man.
It said, "All right, we'll do perfect," and then the rest of it was like, "No,
All right,
no."
let me remove him.
That's fine.
That sucks, man. I wanted to speak to him, man. All right, let's see. Our other guys.
Chris having an issue here?
I don't know. All right, let's see. They're trying, man. They're trying.
Well, I do know that if they're on iPhones, it's trying to make them download Google Browser, and that could take a minute as well.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Well, you can just download the Zoom app. If you download the
I
Zoom
know,
app.
but it made me pick one or the other.
Okay. I got you. So the Chinese can spy on us, right? Is that how it works? Is Zoom one of those Chinese spy softwares that, like TikTok?
That's why they gave us the coronavirus, so we'd have to download Zoom, and now they're in everybody's house. Dang on it.
Yeah, exactly. It's China. China. But anyway, let's talk fishing, guys. I mean, look, here we are. We got 45 minutes to go. 45 minutes to go, and it looks like Mason needs some fish.
Don't say it.
Yep. And I have talked to trying to talk to Marcus. I haven't seen if he's upgraded or not, but it is 45 minutes to go, and it's gonna be
now
interesting.
If you're Mason and you haven't done nothing, or if this is where it takes nerves of steel to slow down. I mean, at this point in time, you just want to cast, and as soon as you don't get a bite, man, you're recasting.
Hey, Todd, your screen is not working, man. I don't know if you cut off your screen or whatever. There we go. I'm not sure what you just did.
Oh, so I guess I can't do stuff on the back end. I was looking at KB. I was looking at the Hobie BOS on
Yeah.
Whatever it's called. But yeah, this is where you earn the title champion, man. 45 minutes to go. Gotta be with them both, man. That's rough.
Yeah, by far. We might have another visitor joining us. All right, here we go. There we go. Matt, can you hear me? Oh, it's connecting audio. Todd, what do they have to do to connect the audio?
It says he's connecting to audio.
Okay.
There he is. Matt is with us.
Can you hear us?
Yep.
All right, we're good. Good deal.
Perfect.
We also might
What's
have
up,
another. We also might have another visitor joining us. But Matt, hey man, we were talking. We were talking about. Well, I'm sorry guys for getting in and out there, but we were talking about what does Mason have to do to pull this off, and we talked about downsizing, changing colors, doing the subtle different things, and most importantly, slowing down. And what
you have a tendency to speed up.
Yeah.
You have this clock in your mind knowing you got to catch something or two fish by a certain time.
Yeah.
You tend to start speeding up, and then you start throwing moving baits, and then you kind of get off of your original game plan, and it's easy to do. But that's why the pros are so good at what they do is they have that mental game to, even though it doesn't look great for them, they have that mental game to stay in it. And a lot of times you'll see them catch fish the last minute and move them up, get them bigger paychecks, or even take the win. So as long as he kind of stays focused and I think good things could happen for him.
Right. Yeah, no doubt, man. No doubt. It's hard to do, man. Easy to say because we're on this side of it right now. But Matt, I mean, you've been there, man. You've been into, this heat, so to speak. You've been into the championship. Matt, you didn't know this or not, but the night that we did the announcement between you and Conrad, we got the final numbers in. Did you hear how many people were watching that night?
No, I did not.
52,000 people were online watching that event that event that night.
That is crazy.
That's awesome.
That's crazy.
That
Awesome.
is nuts.
Yeah, it was intense. That whole day was intense. That whole day was so intense.
I mean,
I got off to a really good start, and then I hit that lull period, and it wasn't just a little bit of a lull period. It was a long lull period.
Yeah.
And so, Conrad just kept catching fish, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I just need to catch something. And it's intense. This whole tournament bracket style is super intense.
It is. It is. I mean, it's definitely different, man. I mean, I don't know. When we put this together, we really didn't understand how this is all going to work out. We just kind of just threw a bunch of names on a piece of paper bracket and see how it is. But this is a lot more than just a bracket, man. This is all about stories. This is about hyped competition. It's about 1v1. It's like, the ultimate competition that you can ever go to. And really, there's also been good consequences about it. It's made anglers who have fished this bracket become a lot better fishermen because they had to. And, as we carry on to the live events and the live events continue to carry on, the guys who have fished the KBBT bracket have done well in the live events. It's been crazy.
Yep, I agree. I think you learn a lot from fishing these, especially your own mental game with it. I think if you look at it from the professional side of it, like the difference between the Bassmaster Elite Series and the Major League Fishing, you feel that pressure from those anglers in the Major League Fishing. This KBBT bracket style. That is the closest thing that I've fished, whether it be live events or whatever. This is the closest thing that I can sense that it would feel like to be able to be fished those Major League Fishing events, because you're catching fish down to that last minute that may put you in position to win, all the way into the last second.
Right.
Like my very first tournament, I caught 4 fish that day. That was my lowest round of all of the bracket that I was in against Mark Pendergraft. I caught a fish with 3 minutes left to go, 18.5 inches to win, to move on to the next round. So, I mean, it can happen in just the last few minutes.
Yeah.
We saw that happen in the teams event with Matthew Conant. Brought them from the dead with that 21-inch fish. And then to see them just march on through that teams event, man, it happens so many times to where an angler on the last like, all right, I'm saving this spot. Last 5 minutes, I'm throwing 10 casts at this spot. And so many times, man, you lip on something that just rocks your world and it changes everything.
Well, Rob, man, we got you on. Rob Richards, the owner of Exotic Rods. Welcome, my friend. Thank you for joining, man. We were just going to sit here and talk fishing, but I first have to ask you a question. Your heart must have sunk when you heard that Marcus's rod fell in the water. He had to go in and get it.
It's just par for the course with UPS losing the first one, and then, yeah.
What are you going to do, right?
I mean, we've all lost rods over the side of the boat. I lost a Kistler Z-bone and one of the old Corrado 200Es in the middle of Lake Conroe, and that about killed me.
Oh, wow.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, it makes you sick as soon as it happens, because you're like, I don't think I'm going to get that one back.
I was in 40 feet of water, too, so.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, you're not getting that one back.
Yeah.
Well, Rob, let's just talk fishing, man. I mean, we got you on here talking fishing, man. Here we go. Last 40 minutes, man. Mason is down 7 inches or 6.5 inches, man. From a fisherman's standpoint, man, like Matt was talking, you have to change a little bit of things. Hardest thing to do is slow down when you're fishing against you're fishing against not only Marcus, but you're fishing against the fish, and now you're fishing against the clock. give all those who are out there. I mean, now it's for the championship, man. What do you do, man?
Well, me, I notice a lot of these guys, they have their strengths, and I hate to quote, Mike Iaconelli, but you got to have a panic box. You got to have something you go to get bites so you can get your confidence back. Me, that's a drop shot, or if you're fishing shallow, call it a flip shot, whatever you want, just a smaller worm. If you're fishing grass, maybe something as simple as a weightless worm, up on top of the grass, something you're fishing slow. I know you don't want to slow, you want to speed up. That's the hardest thing, but sometimes, or even a Ned rig. Now the Ned rigs, you can put those on a little weightless hook with a split shot. You got to do something.
Yeah. It's hard, man.
Lucky worm for me.
Yeah. Matt, what do you said you go down to like a smaller worm, right? Is that what you said as well?
Yeah, it just depends on the style, wherever he's fishing, and you could go sometimes going one extreme or the other, or either something really small or something really big, just something to change up what they've been seeing the last few weeks if he's been fishing the same lake. Similar techniques, but just maybe like a 10-inch worm, or either like they said, like a Ned rig or something real small. A shaky head, or even a shaky head would might do the trick with a littler worm. Just something that's a little bit different than what he's doing, or even just a different color that they're not used to, can do the trick sometimes. So.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, like I'm a power fisherman. It's hard for me to kind of finesse it and slow down. But I heard some advice when I was at Gunnersville, and something I think I'd never hear about Gunnersville, is doing something kind of unique, like throwing a Ned rig in the grass and just letting the Ned rig sit down in the grass and they were destroying fish. I'd never think about grass fishing and throwing a daggone Ned rig and letting the Ned rig just sit on top of the grass. That's
do it in Michigan, and I've caught some huge fish on. Not huge, but big for me. You catch some nice fish doing things, different things like that.
Yeah, incredible, man, incredible. We have somebody else wanting to come in here. Hold on, let me see if I can get somebody else in here. Jonathan Pepin.
What's up, man?
Look at this, man. We are getting an all-star event, man. This is like, what are you going to do, man? This is incredible. I love it, man. Matt Frentress, we're going to have Conrad Benetti, we got Robert Richards, Todd. If we can't get the anglers on, let's talk, we're trying to get as many anglers as we can to talk about this. Jonathan, man, listen, you were in the Final Four, man. And I don't know if you saw Kyle yesterday, man, but I think Kyle's performance was, all up to the point was just dominant. And then, again, it happens. I don't know what it is, man, but the Final Four just seems to change things. It's just crazy. And you do things that you don't normally do. And, it wound up biting Kyle in the end. But, look, he had to face against 99.5 inches, man. I don't know of many places that could have beat that kind of number. But right off the get-go, he did put up 85 inches. But, talk about the Final Four, guys. Those who are in the Final Four, why does the mentality of the Final Four change when you get there? And you don't stick to the plan that is what got you there. You do things different.
Well, to me, it all depends on how your morning starts. You got to have consistency week after week after week, and that was kind of my deal. Is like my worst performance came in the Final Four. I was consistently putting numbers in, and sorry, I'm at work right now. My TV's going off.
That's okay.
It's just times change over the course of a month. Fish activity changes depending on the weather and all that kind of stuff, and that's what ultimately I feel got me, is because the fish were transitioning waters, and it's like, you try to make a decision. It's like everything's been working, and then all of a sudden it's like you pre-fish a little bit, and it's like, oh man, I don't know, and it's like you say, you try to throw some different stuff or whatever, and then you get halfway through a day, and then you kind of start panicking because it's like, man, normally by 10 o'clock, I got a full bag. I'm 85 plus inches, and then it's, the pressure's on. You made it that far, but, and the thing is once you start feeling more pressure, it takes a hit on your confidence, and just like you and other people have said, a confident angler is
Dangerous angler.
Yeah. and just, I go for instance, yesterday we fished a tournament up here in the UP, and I was super confident coming into the day. I go out in the morning in the first 2 hours, and I literally missed 7 fish, and I struggled the rest of the day. I was just defeated, and it was just so hard to come back from it. Weather didn't help, but yeah, man, when you get to that point, where you feel like you're behind the 8 ball, you're so close to being there at that very end, and it's like you get to a point, you're like, man, I don't know, I'm gonna throw this just for, I don't know, shoot for the moon, right? And if it works, great, but it's hard, and that's what's great about this kind of format. It's like people look at it differently, but when it comes down to it, what is it, 5 weeks total or 6 weeks total? You have to be on top of your game every single time.
Right.
And like, I personally, I look at how Marcus has been doing this whole while, and yeah, he's not been getting gigantic bags. He's not in the high 90s or 100 inches or something, but he's consistent, and he's consistently on those fish, and that's why he's gotten here, and now it looks like today he's going out and putting up his best effort. So it's what it takes to do it, man. You got to do it all the way to the end.
Well, you got to take advantage of what you've got. Look, man, not many people would have advanced with 77 1/4 inches. And, again, you don't have to win the tournament with 77 1/4 inches. You just got to beat the guy in front of you. That's just the format. And, but then you got to capitalize. After you get that lucky break, you got to capitalize. Doug Wilson did that against Will Brewer. He put up 60, or 58 inches and wound up beating wound up beating Will Brewer. And then Doug went up going on a freaking 100-inch marching tour to the championship. So, you got to take advantage of your breaks. But, Rob Richard brought up a good point, Jonathan. I want to talk to you about this too. He said, he quoted what Mike Iaconelli said, you have a game plan, but you also have to have a panic box, and you got to have something that you have to go to when it's real. And, what is your panic box? What is the thing that you have to do that you can bring fish in the boat, man?
A lot of times when I struggle, it's like I just try to slow down.
That's
like my biggest thing. It's like, okay, it's like between pre-fishing or in a tournament setting, it's like between pre-fishing or how your morning went and stuff like that. Like, when I pre-fished, I started off in that area where I was doing best, and like at the end of the tournament, like for me, just like I said, just yesterday, and then even when I fished with the KBBT bracket, it was like you start getting to the end, and you're like, all right, it's like I've tried new waters, I've tried new things, I'm struggling, it's not working, so it's like my fallback kind of is like within that last hour or last 2 hours, depending on how far away I am at the time, I try to go back to where I started, kind of. Even if it didn't, like I said, didn't fully pan out for me, but I'm like, you know what? There was fish there last week. There was fish there this morning. I didn't, counteract on them. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's like sometimes you just struggle. It's fishing. If it was easy, it'd be called catching or something. It's just, it's you never know what the fish are going to do. And I just, like I said, I kind of go back to where I started, where I felt the most comfortable with. And normally that's where you start your tournament, right? Is where you're most comfortable with. And so it's like I go back to that area, and it's like, okay, we'll try those baits that I did in the beginning of the day, and if that don't work, all right, well, I'll try switching it up. And, you hope for the best. Hopefully maybe they're still there and they want to fight something new color, new presentation. And like I said, a lot of times my go-to is to just slow down, get back to some sort of finesse type thing. Or, if that's what you've been doing all day, I don't know, rip a jerkbait in their face. Sometimes that works, get them agitated. Maybe they're just hanging out. Depends on the weather too,
Oh, for sure. Again, the hardest thing to do is to slow down. Man, we got some hammers on right now. We've got now Rob Richards. We've got Matt Frentress, Jonathan Pepin, Marty Hughes and Kyle Zemke has now joined us. I don't know what to say, man. I'm kind of like blown away. I say screw Marcus Coates and, Mason Good, and let's just talk fishing and worry about one of those guys later, man. Because this is amazing. I mean, when's the last time we had caliber fishing guys like this ever? You know what I mean?
Hey, this really shows the support that we have as anglers for you guys putting on such an awesome tournament. I mean, it's been such an awesome experience that we're all been a part of it and we all enjoy it and we want to be there to kind of support moving forward as well.
I can't tell you how much we appreciate it, man. I mean, as I said, it's all about the anglers, man. That was our first and foremost deal with our mission statement is to bring it back to the angler. It's one of those things. Kyle, can you hear me, buddy?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're good to go, man.
Finally. Well, I had to pick up with them again.
Well, you're with
Go.
you're with Matt Frentress, Jonathan Pepin, myself, and Rob Richards and Todd Patrick, man. Marty was on, and I don't know where he went, man, but this is quite a panel. Well, talk about your day, man. We didn't have a chance to talk to you yesterday, man, but talk about the day didn't really start off well for you, man. You went pretty far to try to go and catch the big smallies, but dude, let's just face it. You faced the freight train. 99 and a half inches is what Mason put on the board. I mean, that's tough, man. You wake up in the morning, you see a flat out 96 and a half in your face. I mean, it's got to change your game plan, man.
That didn't really change much, but it does make you think about it because you're just like, holy crap. Especially, my consistency is good, but, to get that over 96 or 97 mark is tough for me. I've only done it a couple times, especially in one day.
Yeah.
But yeah, and just, I just thought that I might sneak off to a different spot early in the morning, and it takes, 30 minutes to pedal there. Which is tough, so that kills a lot of time. And I didn't really get what I wanted clear back there, so that kills your day for the most part. I probably should have hung out more. I know I should have, but I didn't. But even at that, that's just how it goes. Late in the day, I had planned on making the move, but a brush fire kind of got me, and then I got stuck in the sand. So trying to get out of the area I was at before the brush fire came across the area I was in, kind of took me down about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So I was pretty much done by then.
Wow.
Which is why that you guys never seen most of me at all. I had to deal with a small brush fire not far from where I unload. So
Wow.
yeah, that was a little tricky having to let that burn around and get around to that. Not a lot of roads out in the desert there, so you kind of either wait or have to drive a long ways. So that was kind of why it wasn't around last night. By the time I got home, I was beat, passed out.
Oh, I'm sure.
But
Yeah.
that's the way it goes,
Yeah.
Fishing is fishing. I mean, I got super lucky for 4 weeks in a row on consistent fish, and I lost a couple of fish that may have been close. It wouldn't have been the difference by any means yesterday, but it would have probably put me at 94, 95 mark. But I don't know if I would have beat. And then when I seen 99 at the end of the day, I was like, oh, holy shit. That dude caught some fish.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Yeah, it's it was I mean, honestly, I was jaw dropped when I saw that.
Me too.
I can imagine. I mean, Kyle, look, man, you can't be too disappointed, man. I mean, you put up, over 90 inches every time you fished. I mean, and honestly, dude, yesterday wasn't too bad. You put up 85 inches. That's not a bad day.
Yeah, no. Like I said, I knew it when I seen the 96 that I was out having fun, and I still caught so many fish. My arms are, like I said, I just didn't see the challenge that I was looking for. I mean, still, like I said, I caught 90 inches, just never got just still farting around, and enjoy the day. Oh, that's the nicest one, and then you pop it off and lose it. And, a couple of them come out of the water next to the boat and spit the hook. Which half it wasn't necessarily was a clean or not clean day. just that's how fishing is.
So I got a question for all you hammers, and I'm being serious, but I'm kind of being lighthearted about this too. Does Marcus Coates get the same respect as some of the big fisherman names in kayak bass fishing doing what he's done?
As far as what?
As far as, I mean, getting respect. I mean, do you think he's more, I mean, does he deserve the respect that like a Conrad Benetti or or I'll even say it. I'll even say it like this, like an Eric Siddiqui or something like that. Is he on that same respect line as some of these top tiered guys?
I mean, you gotta fully respect him for what he's doing, but I mean,
Yeah.
as far if you're gonna start linking him with guys like Siddiqui that are on a traveling basis, you're always gonna have that. You're always gonna have that. I don't know, that comparison between your online stuff and your travel events, But I mean, as far as an angler, yeah, most definitely he deserves respect as a great angler, just as I feel all of us do. That have gotten to this point with this bracket and stuff. But I think that's really the main thing that you're going to get people questioning. That kind of a statement is oh well, this guy is traveling and going to these other bigger tournaments with other people, and he's still able to fish waters he wants to. That's really the only main thing I see people have issues with. But like I said, as far as anglers. Yeah, man, we all deserve that respect, and him just as much. I mean, he's been grinding it from day one. He's been in every single one of these tournaments, and he's gotten far, and dang near almost all of them.
You know what?
Yeah, I would say, the respect obviously has to be there. I mean, he's gonna if he wins, if he holds on to this, he stepped up when he needed to most. At the beginning, when you asked the question, I was shaking my head. But I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about it. He's performing under the most pressure and killing it today. In 90 plus inches, he's doing what he knew he needed to do. And remind you this, he has gone to a new body of water and learned it for this tournament. It's not a quote unquote like honey hole that he's fished for years. It's something new. It's a great fishery, yes. But you have to understand that, in his journey, if he becomes KBBT national qualifier #1 champion, the respect has to be there. But I have a mental block when I am trying to compare Cody Milton's, Russ Snyder's, Eric Siddiqui's, Ron Champions versus some of these other guys. I have that mental block. It doesn't let me fairly compare them because of doing it on different levels, different areas of the country, different fisheries versus the cream of the crop competition at the majority of the events. I don't think I'll ever get there either.
Marty Hughes, you're with us, buddy. Can you hear us?
I made it.
How are you doing, man?
What's up, buddy?
I'm thankful for you younger guys that understand technology because I don't.
Well, you actually did it, man. You made it, and congratulations, man. You've achieved, Zoom success, man. But hey, listen, man.
Yeah.
So my question is this: we were talking about, Mason, has now 20 minutes to go. He needs 6.5 inches. What is your advice? Let's say, you're coming down to the last hour or 2 hours. I mean, Rob Richards said he quoted Mike Iaconelli.
How are you doing, man?
He said that you have to have a panic box. You have to have a go-to. You have to have something that the fish are there. What do you do, man? And dude, I'm being honest with you. You've done this because, my goodness, you won Table Rock at a KBF event. You were down, multiple inches. You went back to your comfort bait, and boom, you wound up winning the whole freaking event.
Yeah, I actually loaded my last fish with 1 minute 52 seconds left to go at Table Rock. And it's kind of like the basketball or football the last second shot and the field goal to win it. If you're going to compete at the championship level, you've got to be able to do that. Because when you have two evenly matched teams, which I've seen it with my own son and his state championships, I've seen it in fishing. This year I've had it twice, buzzer beaters home, And I think for me, the success came from staying in the moment. You can't think about the finish. You just think, if you look at the scoreboard, you're going to be overwhelmed. But if you just look at what you're doing and stay in that possession, that moment, that fast, and that's what I did. I turned a corner, and there was a tree there, a little bit of shade, and I thought there's got to be one there, and sure enough, it was. I got lucky on that.
Right.
But I it's all about staying in that moment and focusing on it and looking for clues around you in that last minute, and don't stop casting. Get your lure in the water. Does that sound good?
Marty, what is your thought on the question that I struggled to answer there, with the respect that an angler would get doing something like winning this event versus maybe like Eric Siddiqui's or Cody Milton's or Jay Wallens and guys like that? Where do you stand on that?
Well, there's two camps, of course. I mean, when you're with tournament anglers, you're sharing water. Like this weekend, I was in the same area with 15 other anglers. I mean, you're going to share, and I was 11th, and 5 others were in the top 10. So that tells you how good the area was. We all figured it out, But my deal with the one-on-one is the perseverance of it, the 10 hours, the weekly grind. That's another element, and I've done it, and I know what it's like. I wish that I would have fished the second day or better than I did at Table Rock there, but I didn't expect what would happen. I didn't go in with a whole lot of confidence there and getting big inches, and probably might have made it to the Final Four, that way. But I just feel like there's a lot of respect for it. In fact, I look forward to hearing you guys. I'm sure everybody else does too. And wherever I go, people are talking about it. It brings in, the way you guys are doing it, you're bringing in people that don't even know what kayak fishing is. And they're watching this and they're just excited about it. That's what I see. As far as the guys you've got doing it, oh my gosh. Already you've got anglers that are really good that have not had exposure that you guys have given to them. Now you just mentioned a bunch of guys, they have huge exposure. But before this, Mason and Coates, I didn't know who they were.
Right.
I didn't know who Greg Nosar was.
Well, many people don't still.
But I love you, Greg Nosar. You're like the man.
Not my Tourney X stats say differently.
Well, you got other kinds of stats going for you too. But the trip that you took, Greg, and showing your care for this whole thing, for each angler,
yes,
there's an incredible amount of respect for that. You did what I wanted to do 2 years ago, retiring, and now I gotta wait until I do it. But my goal is to do the same thing like you and just go out and fish with guys. And I love reading your posts about that. And what it does is it inspires others to do the same. So you're a pioneer in that, both of you, in promoting what this sport is about. And I got to tell you guys something. We were at Merritt Lake, which is a very, very remote lake in Nebraska. I mean, very little cell reception. It's sand hills. It's barren. But there's a beautiful lake there. All right. We camped at the campsite where my son and I did about 12 years ago when we first took probably the first kayak on that lake ever. And here I am 12 years later camping in that same exact spot with a bunch of guys who picked that spot that are kayak fishing. And I thought back to how it all started and where it is today, and then seeing this. It's just unbelievable.
Well, the greatest thing about the trip, Marty, and I'm, this guy's honest truth, man. It wasn't about ever the fish catching, man. It was about literally meeting people, face to face, seeing everybody, and the camaraderie, man. It's the fellowship. It's the camaraderie. It's that little green fish, man, can bring so many people together. And I mean, I was treated like family. I was treated like royalty, man. And it was incredible. And honestly, this sport, in my personal opinion, and this is no fault of anybody else's, but my personal opinion really got away from what this sport's all about, and that's the people in the kayaks. It's the guys who literally take those kayaks, drag them through the mud, and fish without the notoriety. What we wanted to do is show what the true sport is all about, and that's bringing people that can fish. Just because you don't have a bunch of patches on your shirt doesn't mean you can't fish. And bringing the guys that don't have the notoriety or the name behind them, and bringing them out and telling their story, man. Everybody has a story, and I'll be honest with you, one of my favorite moments of the trip was really the day that we caught 2 fish. Okay, and I caught both of them, and he didn't catch any. But the story I heard about Brad Case, I'll never forget. We were literally on a river with gators everywhere, and he told me this story about how he became a Purple Heart recipient, how he literally died, and how he, literally had, an attack upon, him and his troop and his battalion and the Kurdish soldiers that were with him, and literally, the whole story behind it. I mean, it was like, you know what, man? Look, this is not, it was way more than just fishing, man. It was like literally sitting there talking to like my uncle or, like my grandfather or something. I mean, it was just, we take for granted what it took to get the freedom to do what we do, and it really kind of put this whole, perspective, the way this country is and, how it's all split and everything else. And, how, all the politics and all that crap is going on right now. This trip for me, being outside DC, was a way for me to kind of just break free, see this country, see this great sport that we have, and put everything back in perspective of what it needs to be. And that's the people behind this sport, and that's the angler. And it was a privilege, man. It was a privilege to go out there and meet people like Matt, and John, on the road, and seeing these guys. I've seen them virtually, but that doesn't mean anything, man. But seeing them shake their hands and actually fishing with them, I had such a blast, man. It was. I encourage everybody, man. I think one thing that KBBT is doing is bringing these anglers together, in a much more closer fashion. It's been incredible. It's something I did not imagine. We talked about good consequences, and I think the good consequences was bringing the fellowship back. It's been amazing. I can't say anything else about it.
Absolutely, that's so true. And through the years guiding, I guided a lot of years, and in the early years, people would get in the kayak and they would just like relax, and then they would tell their story. And so I've heard hundreds of stories like that of people's lives, and pretty much was a counselor while I was doing. Sometimes marriage counselor, sometimes they're trying to voice in life, and most of them didn't even know what I did for a living. They just thought I was an old fishing guide, but I was an educator besides that. And so you can be authentic in the kayak. Does that make sense?
For sure. Bobby Morin, we've got you on, man. Can you hear us? Bobby. I don't know if he can hear us. Maybe. Bobby, can you hear us? Nope, apparently not. Well, I guess he'll...
Anyway, I know you did not make it to Nebraska, right?
Man, I did not. Honestly, I had it planned, but you said that you were going to fish northwest Nebraska, and it was just way too much of a.
I was 6 hours away.
Yeah.
Where it all started, man. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Well, someday, maybe when you take another trip. But I will be your way within the next year or two to fish for stripers in the Chesapeake Bay.
Well, we're going to put you on them for sure, my friend. Yeah, we'll get you on them for sure.
That's awesome.
Bobby, can you hear me, bud?
Cool.
I don't know why we can't hear him. Hey, Kyle, I want to get back to you, man. So You make your own baits, man. We featured your own baits last time, man. You have like a variety of baits that you do. I think it's called ZM Custom Tackle. We were talking about this earlier this morning. I think this is a great topic to bring up to everyone. Okay, we talked about this morning with Jordan and Jeremy. There was a special that was done on YouTube, and I thought it was a very, very good topic. The topic was with Rick Klung. Is there like the best professional fisherman? The secret to success, is it a secret spot, or is it a secret bait? And Kyle, you being a bait maker, I'm gonna start with you. What do you think? Is it a secret spot, so to speak, that is makes you successful, or is it a secret bait that makes you successful?
You know, I've never ever thought that it was just a secret spot. My parents used to tell me when I was a little kid that I could catch fish out of the mud boat. And I swear to somebody that they were right. Having your own baits is just something I can't even explain. And even my little butter and that isn't something that, I'm, engineered and the only one that has it or whatever, it's not at all. This little micro thing's been out for a while, mine just has to look a little different than most people. Again, it's the confidence thing too. I've always said, even in the class that I teach or anything that I've ever done, in the past few years, it's all about confidence. You can have $1,000 worth of tackle, and it's not going to do you any good if you don't think it's going to catch fish. You have that one thing that you think is going to catch fish, and it does. And it doesn't matter where you're at, where you're always going to catch fish, and maybe on the path, but and even being a professional fisherman, in my head, you can go out and after them and not even the least at best, you just happen to go to a competition like that. A professional fisherman can go anywhere, any water, all the fresh water, and target any outfit you want and catch that fish in particular.
Gotcha.
It doesn't matter if I go to the ocean or not. So that's where I come from when I see the deeper, in that mindset all the time. I'll always find the fish. And get here, fish in the moment. I don't know how to things are getting to me, and a lot of the guys as well. But the same vision, both come on the water. And I can know all the time where the fish anyway. So seeing those things, kind of pull them all together is where it all kind of comes together, I guess.
Kyle, you're kind of breaking up. I don't know if your internet's going in and out, man, but you're kind of breaking up. Your audio is really, really spotty. But, yeah, we heard a little bit of what you said. Bobby, can you hear me, man?
I got you now, gentlemen.
All right, there we go. Bobby, good. Hey, man, good afternoon. We've got, again, we got an all-star crew here, man. I'm going to ask you. I'm going to ask you this question, man. You still hold the KBBT record, 110 inches, caught in one day, my friend. I'm going to ask you this question, man. I mean, same thing. Is the spot the difference, or is it the secret bait, or how you take a bait making the difference of why people catch fish?
I think it's going to be the spot that you're fishing, because right now, like Florida, it don't matter, just about no matter what spot you fish, you ain't catching a whole lot of fish. And it don't matter what kind of bait you throw at them. So if the fish ain't biting, and with the heat we got going on right now, I mean, it's actually like getting in a hot tub when you go out on the lake right now. It's 97-degree water temperatures, 107 to 110 outside with the heat index, 80% plus humidity. I don't care what kind of secret bait you got. Them fish ain't gonna bite. They ain't gonna bite.
Yeah, no, I hear you, man. I hear you, dude. That's what Mason, kind of faced throughout the day, man. Is he had trouble, man. He had his spot. He went back to his old spot, and next thing we were talking about what do you do when when you're facing a tough situation trying to fish. What do you do when things do get tough? Everybody was under concurrence. Jonathan Pepin said it. Matt Frentress said it. Marty Hughes said you have to slow down. You know, you have to slow down. And you know, Bobby, I mean, you know, you being in Florida, that's tough to do, man. Because I mean, you guys are more so power fishermen down there.
Yeah, I can slow down, and right now with Florida, you would have to slow down. I'm talking to the point of throwing a wacky wig right out there against the hyacinth grass, pull it off, let it fall down, and sit there and have you a glass of iced tea, make a sandwich, barbecue some chicken, and give it a little pluck, and then do the same thing all over again. And 30 minutes later, pull it in, throw it over 5 feet, and let it do the same thing and repeat.
Right.
That's how slow you got to get right now. I mean, it's as the heat goes up, the fish slow down, and you got to adjust with it.
For sure, for sure. Matt, I want to bring you on, man. So you know, Marcus will tell you the key to success that he had earlier on was his frog bite. You know that he's fishing early in the morning. He's fishing the frog bite, and I just got word too. Rodney Kinnan said that he's now ending his afternoon in the frog bite. But you know, frog fishing in itself, man, is an art. It's not a science. It's really an art. It's you know, it's not something that's easy to do, man. You know, those who guys just pick up a real heavy frog rod, you know, and you're throwing these plastic hollow body frogs, man, and you know your hookup ratios. You know, I mean, a good hookup ratio 60%. You know what I mean? It's an art. Can you give people an idea? You know, being a frog fisherman, man, what are some of the keys that you do or that you are successful at when you do frog fishing?
So a couple of things is I will switch between, I try to simplify it between black and white. I usually don't throw anything but black and white. It's just,
Wow.
that's usually the only colors I throw.
Okay.
But within that, I will use a poppin' frog. I will use a regular, just a spro frog or a sexy frog. Or a ribbit style frog, something that has like a plop noise where it's like constantly moving on the water. And so sometimes those fish, when you're frog fishing, I tend to stick with something that's a little more loud, like a poppin' frog.
Mm-hmm.
And usually, depending on the water clarity, I will usually fish it slow. That's usually how I start. Because I feel like if you're fishing it really fast, more than likely your hookup ratio is going to go down because they're going to miss the frog a lot when you're fishing like heavy vegetation or heavy pads.
Right.
Depending on those fish are reacting, I may go to a faster cadence or even a ribbit frog or something that's like a horny toad or something like that. So I will tinker with speeds more than I'll tinker with colors. There was one of the weekends that we were fishing. They were really keyed in on shad in the morning, and so I was fishing a white frog. But during the middle of the day, it slowed down. They just kind of stopped eating, and so I just switched over to a black frog. I just tore the white horny toad off, put a black one on, and they started biting again. So sometimes you just kind of let the fish dictate kind of what they want you to do. I also tinker a little bit with, the length of the tails on like a poppin' frog or a standard, sexy frog. Shorten the length of the frog because I really want it to walk back and forth. And you can make it do a lot of movement in a small area if you can get that frog walking back and forth. Instead of covering, 5 foot of an area, you can just sit there and work that frog for a long time side to side if you get that walking the frog correct. And sometimes that's the difference between you triggering a fish to eat it and one that won't eat it.
So let me give you the best advice I heard about frog fishing. I'm gonna see if you agree with it or not. I heard, and this is an older guy I used to fish with a long time, and he was a master at lily pads and grass. Typically when you're fishing, grass, or if you're fishing a bank, and lily pads are tied to that bank, and let's say you're on the edge of that lily pad field, you throw as far as you can on the bank, and then literally bring that frog off the bank, because the majority of your reaction strikes happen within 2 feet of that bank. So throwing that frog up on the bank, even in the grass, pulling it out of that grass, letting it drop into the water about 2 feet from the bank, majority of the time, that's your strike zone with frog fishing, and then you can walk it from there. You agree with that or not?
Yeah, there's a lot of times those fish, and sometimes you will see them actually putting their nose on the bank. They're just waiting for. It doesn't have to necessarily be a frog. It could be a lizard. It could be a dragonfly. It could be any kind of something that may move into that water. I even saw a bird on one of my tournaments. I saw a bird drinking some water right on the bank, and a bass tried to eat it. And so I think a lot of times they are, in those shallower areas, just waiting for something to come in front of them. It's just kind of a feeding area. Also, sometimes within pad fields, some of the pad fields down in the south, we have some, because it gets so hot, they're just like football field size pads. It's like you can't even cover that water in a day. There's so many pads. But if you can find little key differences, like little creek, little ditches or something that runs inside the pad fields, a lot of times they'll be in those areas too.
Yeah, Marcus is writing in. He's feeling the pressure. Let me just say that.
Well, am I allowed to add to the pressure?
You sure can.
Mason Good wrote me. He caught a fish at 3:59.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we'll see what happens.
Guys, this is going to come in.
He wrote me and said I caught a fish at 3:59.
Well, let me tell you. Marcus's fish are not in yet. He's got an hour. Or he's got another hour to put him in. Really, 54 minutes. But the problem is he's got to get to a place where he has service to make sure he uploads them. And
wouldn't that suck?
And then he's got to get him judged.
He'll make it.
So
He will.
Hey, Bobby, he doesn't have that motor you got, man.
He don't have a Hemi.
Marcus can make that move now.
I think
Marcus can knock out 3 miles in 30 minutes in that pursuit.
if I was Mason Good right now, I would take that voodoo doll that Marcus has been using and start putting pins on a Marcus voodoo doll right in his shoulders. Like automatic arthritis. He can't get back to the launch.
Hey, Pepin, are you in a tractor, brother?
Yeah, I'm in my machine. I'm
That's
at work.
phenomenal.
I saw you hop got air ride going on. What do you drive?
I got a John Deere 844 bucket loader.
Nice.
I work at a paper mill, and I push wood chips around for a living. For now.
Oh, okay.
Or between that or unloading over the road log trucks with grapplers.
So, guys, I want to bring you on this one, and then we'll probably end up here, so we can get these things judged in and get ready for the broadcast tonight. But I want to end it up with this. Bobby's in Florida. We had some guys in Texas. Marty, you've been fishing everywhere, my friend. Matt, you're from Texas. Does this format, did it validate itself over 3 brackets that anybody at anywhere can win this bracket at any time? Yes or no?
I'll say it done it after the first one.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at the no names that were in that first bracket now that are starting to become household names. Just like football, on any given Sunday, anybody can win.
Well, I mean, Kyle's from Idaho, for goodness sakes. I mean, how many people knew that there was bass that size in Idaho?
I didn't even know there was bass in Idaho.
David said there's nothing more. David Brooks said that there's nothing but potatoes in Idaho. I think Kyle said nope.
You've got Florida fish, Texas fish, Michigan fish, Iowa fish. I mean, it's crazy. I'll be honest with you. I really thought, anglers from Florida and Texas would have a little bit of an advantage just because of the size fish we have. But it blows my mind how big some of these smallmouth are, and the size of fish, even some of the largemouth that they have, like in Iowa and stuff. It's just, it's been really impressive to see, and even Maine. I mean, goodness.
I mean,
it's
who would have
just
thought?
crazy that
Merritt.
there's fish all over, and I don't know that there's not really an advantage one place over another. I promise you. So.
I mean,
Nebraska too.
Nebraska.
Yeah, don't forget.
One other thing, Greg. What do you know how these guys feel about this upcoming making the cut tournament? Because in my head, I see that being humongous as a tournament potential. Well, how do you guys feel about that? With that style of tournament that's going to be coming up?
The thing I worry, and that's what, September
12th.
12th. The only thing I worry about with Florida is we're going to be in peak hurricane season. So, I mean, we could be at any given moment. We're going to be out of it no matter what. We're going to still have the heat we're dealing with, and then we're going to have hurricanes, the peak of hurricane season getting ready to kick in down here. And we got afternoon storms coming through now. We had 50-plus mile-an-hour winds the other day for almost an hour just in an afternoon storm.
Wow.
But my question really was, like, how do you feel about the format? If it maybe it's set up at a different time of the year, I just think that format could take off almost like the bracket did, because I've never seen any tournaments out there where you're making cuts week to week to week all the way to a championship. I think that's really awesome.
It's almost like golf.
That's
Really
exactly
is.
right.
That's exactly how I thought it. Whenever I saw it, I was like, "This is exactly like a golf tournament."
Yep.
You have to do well enough to survive to that next round, and then once you get to the finals, anything can happen.
Yeah, I mean, just make the top 10. If we have 100 anglers, make the top 10% or whatever it is, and then, man, big pots. I mean, you're fishing for real money at that point, man, and the pressure's on. Yeah. And I want to see people's faces when they're fishing for like $8,000.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
It's fun to see.
I'd like to see what that tournament would be like in February, March, or even maybe November, December for Florida when our bite comes back.
Well, then we'll have to do ice fishing for most of the country, though, man. You know what I mean?
Hey, I'll tell you.
Yeah, John Pepin's walking on 12 inches of ice in February.
I'll tell you like 24. So we'll be on even playing field.
Yeah.
I'll be down in Florida in January.
That's right.
Invitational.
But I think that making the cut, that's going to be exciting. It's going to be a new format. It's almost MLF style. You know, I mean, they do a daily cut. But, I mean, this is kayak fishing at its best, man. I mean, again, what I can't wait to see is the stories of the people that are on that cut line. And the cut line's going to float, you know what I mean, based on the number of entries that's going to be on there. So, I mean, it's going to be a real deal. I mean, you got to figure, look, you've got, if 100 anglers sign up, then you got $10,000 in the pot. The top 10 make it, and they're fishing for $10,000. And that money's split out between 10 guys. But majority of the money's going to go to the winner. I mean, that's a big deal, man. That's some fishing, man.
You could legit catch a fish the last minute, submit it, and you still not make that cut line.
I know.
Because there could be 10 other people that do it.
I know. It's going to be insane.
It's going to be great. I'm excited for it. I'm really excited for it.
For sure. Well, guys, we're gonna hang up here, man. This has been fantastic, man. This is like, I can't tell you guys how much we appreciate it. You guys taking your time on a Sunday to come in and talk to us. Again, I told Marcus, I gave him a screenshot. I'm like, dude, Marcus and Mason, this is for you guys. I mean, this is the amount of respect that these anglers have for you guys and making this day to what it is. And guys, thank you guys, man. Thank you for your support. And Jonathan, I'm gonna say this, man, to you, bud, if you can hear me. Dude, you keep on doing what you're doing, man. I am so super proud about how you're growing that thing up in Michigan, man. You guys, you're doing a heck of a job up there, man. Good. I mean, I love it. I love seeing what's going on up there.
I appreciate it. I put my heart and soul into this, and there's one thing that I learned early on with the kayak fishing community in general is there's very few bad people that you'll ever meet along the way, and the friendships that I've made from just fishing state stuff and getting in on this with you guys, I mean, it's ridiculous the amount of connections and the amount of people that I've met through it, and like that's the kind of stuff I spread like when I meet new people. Like We literally had a new angler join. He's a bass boat guy, never fished a tournament out of a kayak. He went out yesterday, actually ended up winning the tournament, and he was just so excited. I didn't get home until like almost 9 o'clock last night because he was talking my ear off. He was so excited, and he might actually go down to the Michigan State Championship with me next weekend. So I mean, it's just, I always just go back to this community that we have as kayak anglers, and I love it. And like I said, I love everything you guys are doing with the KBBT too. And man, you guys give us a platform. You've given me a platform to help grow the sport and help grow my community at home, you know, so I'm forever grateful for that too. So thanks a lot for that, and thanks for all these guys that have come on and helped push me to be a better angler as well.
Well said, my friend. I think we're going to end with that, guys. Guys, thank you so much. I hope you guys tune in tonight. Let's see who winds up winning this thing. I'm waiting for some results to come through, to be honest with you. I haven't seen submissions come through yet, and the clock is ticking. So I don't know. We'll have to see what goes on. Guys, thank you guys. Have a good one.
Have a great day.
Take
See
care.
ya.